Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is part 18 of yet another inventory series, but wait. In the last episode we made our toggle button, and in this episode we are going to implement this on our UI. Without loads of chatter, let's get straight to it. So we go to our UI, we open up our main UI. What we're going to do is we make a few alterations on here, nothing too drastic. We basically have what we need already. So if we look at our UI, the way we've got it built up, we have a horizontal box and we have our slots border and our info border. So in our horizontal box, we are going to add a size box. And you see it's gone to our right hand side. We want it right over here to our left. Put it on the right if you prefer, but I prefer it on the left. And in this size box, we're just going to add a width override. We don't care about the height, it can go full height. The width override that we're going to add is 120, so it gives us some space. To this, we're going to add a border. Oh, don't know where that went. Let's try again. We're going to add a border to our size box. You see it's gone all white. We don't want that. So let's do some settings to our border. Make sure we select our border. Don't want any padding. We want it to be full. We want the content to be central there, but full in vertical, central and horizontal, full and vertical. We're going to set some padding of 8 in the content padding. The brush we're going to open up. We're going to set it as a rounded box. It's all gone a little bit weird at the moment, but don't worry about that. We're going to set the tint to 0. We click OK. And we are going to zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Go to our outline settings and make sure they're fixed radius. And we're going to set those to 10. And we're going to set the tint color, the outline color, the same color we've been using for our outline within our rest of our thing, and we're going to set the width to 3. So if we zoom in now, we see we have a border width of 3. It's a slightly different color. So let me check my color. If you can't find the color, you can just use the selector here. Select it, that's the same color. Okay. You can make it a bit thicker. We could make the width a bit thicker. And then they were 5, we could make them 5 if we wanted to. We may have to adjust our settings. So I'm going to go back to 3, make it thin, so it's a little bit different. And the padding on this border, set to 8, that's correct. Okay, so now we're going to add a a scroll box. We're going to add that to our border, and the padding for that should be 8 on the top there. Scroll bar thickness we're going to leave as it is, but we're going to set that to be central and just like that. I think the only other thing I think I'd change is the normal thumb. Make it the same color. Give it some style. Where is it? Where is it? It's in bar style. Normal thumb. I'll just change the tint to be the same colour as our border. Okay, so we've got that. Now what we're going to do is in this scroll box, we are going to add our WDT underscore toggle button. We're going to add them to the scroll box. You can see it's filling out a scroll box. Click on this, get rid of all the lines. To our default settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one that we like the colours, and then we are going to duplicate it just to make our lives a little bit easier. So let's think about it. So we're going to highlight our widget. We made our button settings. So we're going to set our normal to be our border color. That one. We're going to set our highlighted, I think, to be that bronzy color. And the first one we're going to call all. So we're going to write the button text all. The index is going to be 0 because it's the first one. We've got the correct icon. Consumable type not applicable because it's not a consumable, and our category is all. Okay. Good. Compile that. We're going to rename this to be, just take off the WDT. I'm just going to call it all. Make sure it's a variable. Now we're going to duplicate it. And this one we're going to rename to be food. Take one off. The highlight, and that can remain the same. Our index will be 1 because we've gone up 1 on the index. Once we've got the correct one set. Button text will be food. Consumable type is food. Category is consumable. Okay. And if you want to just confirm that things work, whether I exposed, yes I did, I exposed the selected, you can click on selected there to see them change in color. Okay, the icon, I'm going to use my burger icon. And here's my burger icon. So if it's selected, we can see it nice and bright. Lovely. Duplicate again. We're going to call this drink. We're going to put the text to drink. Index to 2. We'll change our icon to our bottle icon. Make sure you selected the correct one. Consumable type drink and type consumable. Again, we're going to duplicate. We're going to call this medical. And the text is going to be medical. Index is going to be 3. And the icon I've got, I really should have had a cross like that, but I'm going to use my health icon for that. That's all I have at the minute. Make sure we change the correct one. Zoom in so you can see what we're doing. Consumable type health, and it is a consumable. Good. Next one we're going to do is 2 or 3 more. Duplicate. We're going to name this to be resources. Get rid of these. We're going to change the name to resources. We can change the index to 4. We're going to change our icon to my resources icon. Consumable type not applicable. Category resources. Make sure I've got that correct. Yes. Duplicate again. We're going to call this one. Oh, let's rename it up here. Sorry. Recipes. Make sure we change the name to recipes. Index to 5. Our icon and our consumable is not applicable. Our type is going to be recipe. Okay. And we have one more. These last two really we're not going to be dealing with right now. We may well do later on in the future, but I just want to put them there to show you that you can have as many as you like. And this one is going to be placeable. Recipes and placeables are recipes for crafting. Placeables are things that obviously we can place in the world. So make sure we change the name. Placeable, index of 6. I'm going to use my little box icon for that. And category is placeable. Compile and save that. And you see now all of our buttons are in a nice scroll box, all ready to use. So let's have a look, see what it looks like in the game. We'll play the game, tab our inventory. We've got a nice scroll box with a color coordinated bar. We can scroll it, we can select, but nothing happens at the moment, okay? Because we've not written the code, but you can see the buttons work. So we get a little bit of feedback. So let's go ahead and write at least a toggle function. So we're going to go to our event graph. And we are going to make a function. We're going to make, let's just make the first function first, then we'll see what time we've got. So we're going to make a new function. We'll go to our functions, we're going to add a new function, and we're going to call it toggle buttons. Okay. And before we go ahead and do that, we do need to go to our event graph. We do need to make one more. Yeah, we're going to make another. Do it as a function. So we're going to make another function, and we're going to say create toggle button array. Okay, because this does quite a lot. So we could manually do this, make an array, and make them all manually, but let's have it dynamic so that if we decide you want to add a new category, we can get it to do it a lot more easier. So first thing we've got to make sure is our scroll box here is a variable, and we're going to call it toggle button container, which contains our toggle buttons. make sure we've got that named and compiled. We're going to drag in our toggle buttons container. We're going to say get all children. Okay. We're going to for each through here. Then we are going to cast to WDT underscore toggle button. We're going to right click on this and convert to pure cast, because we know that that's the only children that this is going to have. So we know this is always going to succeed. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to drag off here and promote to a variable, and we're going to call this variable toggle button array. I'm just going to delete this. We don't need it right now, but we're going to go to here and we're going to just change its type to an array. We'll compile. Got that ready. Now from here, we're going to drag out and ask for our index. Then we are going to drag out of here. We're going to say set array element. The index is going to be this index. We're going to make sure we click size to fit. The item is going to come from our cast here. The array is the array we've just made. Okay. So we've gone ahead. We've looked at our child, at our toggle button container, our score box. We've got all the children. We know that they're only going to be this because we've not added anything else in it. So this is always going to pass. For each one, we looked at its index that we set when we set our buttons up, and we've added them here. Make sure you click size to fit, or else you'll only get one in here. We don't. Okay, we do. We can check, but the system doesn't know how many there are. So size to fit, so it's going to keep going to however many there are and make the array bigger. Okay, after we've done that, we bring in our toggle buttons array, we do a for each loop, and remember in our toggle button we did the event dispatcher of the on click. So we're going to drag off the element and we're going to say bind event to, and you see our bind event to on toggle button clicked. Do that. Now, as I mentioned before in this tutorial, what I'm going to do now here works on 5.6 inside a function, but doesn't necessarily work in other versions, so you will have to move it manually. So we're going to create an event, and we're going to select create a matching event at the bottom here, and we're going to name this on toggle button clicked. Now you see, to me, it's gone into my event graph. If it is inside your create toggle, if it is made it inside here, just right click, cut it and paste it into your event graph, or else you'll get an error when you try to compile. So if you're getting an error of compiling it saying it can't find it, and this goes red and all sorts, that will be your reason why. So now basically we've made our array of buttons, we've set each button to listen for this event. Good. First of all, let's make sure we don't forget to implement it. So let's go to our event graph. Our begin play, we've got our refresh inventory slots and event construct. We don't want to do it every time we refresh inventory slots. We only want to do it once. So let's do it here. Okay. Rewrite mode to make it look neater if we wanted to. So we're going to do it here. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do our toggle buttons, because we did need that inventory array to be able to make this. So we go to our inventory array, we do a for each loop. Now in our toggle buttons we do have some inputs, so we're going to add those now. The first input is going to be index, pretty much what we put in the event dispatcher. Then we've got our category, and that's going to be of type item group. Then we're going to add our consumable type. And that's going to be of type consumable type, just like that. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to want to get a reference to this, so we're going to right click and say get index. Normally at the very bottom. From our button, we want to get the index here. And we're going to say, are these equal? Then we're going to drag out of here. I'm going to say set selected. Here. I'm going to set it to this. So if it's equal to that, it's going to set this to true. If it's not equal, it's going to set it to false. By doing this, it does it to all the buttons. Let's drag down here and reroute node. And from here, we're going to say set, I think I put tint, set tint. Name of the function that we made, changing the color. Okay, so that is all we need for toggling the buttons. The next part we'll do is to sort the inventory, but let's have a look, see where that works. Going to play the game. Tab, we've got all, food. Now we're not changing our color. Why not? Because, like a fool, I didn't implement it. So we go down to where we made our toggle buttons on, clicked here, and we implement the function. So I'm laughing because it's such a silly mistake to make, but it's quite a common one to make, so don't beat yourself up about it if you do it. A lot of people do it. We get so wrapped up in doing the function and we're so keen to see it work and we forget to actually implement it. Now if I click it all through, you see they toggle just like a nice toggle button. Okay. Good, so that works. So what we'd like, though, just to make it a little bit nicer, we want to have at least one selected when we start. So I could do a little change here, but we can add it here. We'll change that in my reference project, though I'm a little bit ahead of where I am in recording. So on here, for now, we can just call in toggle buttons. Make sure categories all not available 0, so all default is fine. And what that will do is when we run our thing, it automatically selects all as your first toggle button, and then we can look at it in any way like that. Okay. Okay, so we've come up to 35 minutes. We've now added them to our UI. We've come up to 25 minutes on. We've added to our UI. Next time we're going to sort the inventory and we're going to do a couple of little adjustments on our UI. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Pop over, have a look at my Patreon. Also, consider buying me a coffee. All it is appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.